Disco. 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 disco, disco,
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your dessert and you've had a lovely lunch. Everybody's going to, the waiters and waitresses are going to be coming around with teas and coffees, but we're going to get this afternoon underway again now. And I'd like to welcome our first speaker to the stage, Zoe Ogilvie, who's the director at Big Partnership, one of the most highly regarded and experienced public relations practitioners in the north of Scotland. Zoe has almost 30 years experience in PR in the UK and overseas, including 6 years with an international marketing consultancy in Paris, France, and 8 years with Aberdeen and Grampian Chamber of Commerce as their public affairs manager. In 2000, she set up the Big Partnership with partners Alex Barr and Neil Gibson, one of the largest independent marketing communications agencies in the UK. Big has 100 people in offices in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Glasgow and Manchester, and boasts an impressive portfolio of clients from multinational corporations to leading consumer brands and public sector organisations. She's got an unrivalled network of contacts at the highest levels in the media, the public and the private sectors in Scotland, and extensive experience in the energy sector. She's led award-winning campaigns for a range of high-profile organisations. And earlier this year, Zoe was appointed to the board of Aberdeen Football Club, becoming the first female director in the 119-year history of the club. She's also a governor. Yes, well done. She's also a governor on the board of Robert Gordon University and a director of Aberdeen Inspired. Zoe's married with a daughter, Francesca, who is a Scottish football internationalist and plays for AFC Women. Please give a warm welcome to Zoe Ogilvie.
Good afternoon, ladies, and I think there are a few men. Men, put up your hands so I can see you. Okay, I can rip the piss out of you lot later. Thank you very much for having me. Congratulations again to those who have won awards so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing those who are going to win some awards later on. Sorry, I come between you and your coffee and you and the rest of the awards, so for those who are still waiting and biting their nails for whether they're going to win or not, I hope I don't go on too long. I did ask Lynn what she wanted me to speak to you about today, and she just said, be inspirational. The pressure's on. So, and this time last week, and I don't mean to brag, but this time last week I was lying on the most beautiful daybed beside an infinity pool in a 5-star hotel in Dubai. But I was thinking about what I was going to say to you today. I don't speak off a script. I will probably ramble on a bit, but I do like to have a bit of a theme, and I was trying to think about what that theme could be. And because I was lying there in this beautiful place, enjoying the sun when you were all probably freezing in the rain in Glasgow, I was thinking about how did I get here? How was I fortunate enough to be doing this? How am I fortunate enough to be doing what I do in my career and my life at the moment? So that got me thinking about the theme for today, which for me is making it happen. Because I was there last week, I am where I am in my business. I've won the awards that I've won, and you're hopefully about to win some as well, because I made it happen. And I don't mean that to sound arrogant or conceited or anything, but I did it because I worked really hard. So I think to ask you a few questions, how many of people here believe in luck? Any? Yeah, got a few that believe in luck. And I bet I can tell the answer to this question. How many of you believe in hard work? Yeah, every single one of us. And what I believe is that if you work really hard enough, you will make your own luck, and you will succeed, and you will make things happen. So, because I love talking about myself, who doesn't? I'm going to talk a bit about my journey. Lynn, you can just drink more Prosecco because you've heard this all before. So I'm going to just kind of talk you a little bit through my journey. Hope that it is inspirational to some of you, but keep those themes in mind about the lucky breaks, but about it all just being down to hard work at the end of the day. So, another question for you. Who amongst you is doing today what you dreamt of doing when you were younger? Jeanette Forbes. Yeah, a few of you, but not many. Okay, sadly, I'm not a ballerina, because that's what I wanted to do. But my mum told me I looked like an elephant marching across the room, and the ballet teacher said I had difficulty in keeping in time with the music. So you won't see me doing a Sarah Davis on Strictly anytime soon. I'm not a dancer. My second choice of career was a vet, but again, that didn't go particularly well, because even with the hardest work in the world, I'm a left brain type of girl. I'm not right brain. I can't count. I have problems with numbers, and I have problems with science, so I was never going to be a vet. But by 16, I knew that I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was, because this is a long time ago we're talking, when careers were quite sort of narrowly defined in those days. But I knew that I wanted to do something creative. I probably wanted to be in communications, in marketing, but at that time I didn't really know what it was. And I've made it happen. And I suppose it kind of all began about, I think, in the introduction it mentioned that I spent a long time in France. And it began with what was supposed to be 6 months in Paris and turned into 6 years. So as I said, 35 or maybe more years ago, when I was leaving school and thinking about what I was going to do, unfortunately, I was at a very old-fashioned all-girls school in Aberdeen, where basically, if you weren't that bright, they just hoped you were going to go away and marry somebody rich. But if you were bright, you were either going to be a doctor, an accountant, or a lawyer. That was really it. So, as I say, you found out that I'm left brain rather than right brain, so there was no way I was being an accountant because I can't count. And there was no way I was going to be a doctor because I couldn't do science. So law was the option. And I look back now and think, actually, I'm quite pleased I didn't go into law, but at the time, I applied for Edinburgh University to do international law with French and German, because I did like my languages, left brain thing again. And I really wanted to improve. I wanted to speak a language fluently. So I got accepted to do international law with French and German, but decided that I was going to go and take a year out and spend 6 months in France and 6 months in Germany. And my 6 months in France turned into 6 years. And this is where a bit of the luck comes in. So when I first went there, I got an A in my higher French, thought I was great, thought my French was just amazing. And you go there, you go to the other country, and suddenly you're like, oh shit, I don't understand a word. It's too fast, it's too colloquial. And the thing that really annoyed me as somebody who loves to chat was that you were sitting there listening to the conversation in another language going on around you, desperate to jump in with your opinions, and by the time you translated it in your head, the conversation had moved way on, was on to something else, and you didn't get the chance. So the day that I actually woke up able to think in another language is a great feeling. I don't know if there's anybody else here who's fluent in another language, but it is great. And I can tell you one thing, that once you've learned one other language fluently, the second one after that becomes really easy, and it's a great skill to have. But in the beginning, my French was pretty awful. I thought it was good, but it was pretty awful. So I was working in your kind of really tacky, touristy souvenir shops where you had to speak English to all the American tourists that were coming in, and also I had a couple of waitressing jobs. And because I was quite creative and had done quite a bit of art and design at school, I thought, well, I could start doing portraits at Montmartre. And I don't know if any of you have been to Paris, right up at the top beside the Sacré-Cœur. There's a sort of a square where there's all these outdoor artists that do portraits. So I thought, this is great. I can earn 200 francs. If I say 200 francs rather than 20 euros, that really shows my age. But I could earn 200 francs a time doing all these charcoal portraits, because I was really quick at getting a likeness rather than the ones that take an awful long time. So I was sitting there with my board trying to drum up business to do portraits, and I wasn't getting anywhere. Nobody wanted me to do their portraits. And I said to some of the other artists, why are they not? And they're like, well, Zoe, these are Americans. They come to Paris to get their portraits done by a French person, not by a Scottish person. Right. So the next day, I'm in the Place de Tertre with my drawing board, doing portraits with a French accent. And as long as I spoke in French, pretended I didn't have much English, I made a fortune. I could churn out about 20 portraits in a day, and that was my dream of being an artist in Paris. So I had about over the sort of first 6 months of being in France, I had about five or six jobs, and to keep on my theme. It's bloody hard work. I was running from one to the next just to have to kind of keep on top of living costs across there, because it was quite expensive. And I ended up meeting a group of friends, and we had at one point I think there were about 6 of us in a bed sit, because that was all we could afford. But we all had different shifts. So we kind of like just juggled. Three were allowed to sleep while 3 were out working, and then we came back. The milk was on the outside on the windowsill in the winter because we didn't have a fridge. But I look back on that, and it was great days, really good days. And going back again to my theme, the bit of luck was that I was working in this restaurant one evening, and this guy came in, and well, at the time, to me, he was an older gentleman. He was wearing a Stetson, cowboy boots, his hair in a ponytail, beard, and he just had this sort of amazing, charismatic personality. And he sat down and he ordered, and you could tell that the people he was with, they were having a celebration. But as I say, my French wasn't quite good enough at that time to really understand when I was serving the table what he was talking about. But I spent the whole night serving their table. They were quite demanding. I was working hard. I was enjoying it. And at the end of the night, he came over, gave me a huge tip, and said, it's been great. And tell me your accent. Where are you from? And we got speaking. And because Jacques was just the most bohemian, so I did. I went on Monday, and first of all, I wasn't doing any marketing and communications. Jacques decided that I should be his bookkeeper, because even in France, the Scots have got a reputation for being tight. So that was it. And I had to learn. I hadn't worked in business. I'd worked in pubs and bars, and my mum and dad had hotels. I'd worked in the hotel industry, but I hadn't had any experience of working in business, and suddenly I am doing the books for a brand new startup business. French, and I look back and think, what on earth did that bank manager think? I'm his finance manager. But it taught me a lot, because I learned how to do the books. I learned about cash flow. I learned about everything that you need to run a business, budgeting, forecasting, etc. And then as my French became more fluent, I then started managing accounts and working with, we had some great brands, even though it was a boutique agency. We worked with Air France, we worked with Kawasaki, we worked with Cas Poquelin, as it was then. It's now Case International, which is a company that manufactures combine harvesters. And to this day, people in France find it very bizarre that I know what the French for a combine harvester is. And if you ever want to know, it's moissonneuse batteuse. That will get you somewhere. So, as I say, that was the luck. The luck part was that the day I was working in that restaurant, Jacques came in, and he saw something in me, and he wanted me to go and work with him. And I worked with him for 5.5 years, and he was one of the most enlightened bosses I've ever had. He actually died a couple of years ago. And thankfully, I was able to spend a weekend with him in France, but whilst he was ill, because he became a second dad to me, and he was a tremendous mentor. And I think that for all of you in the room today, whether you're employed or you're a startup or you've got your own business, it's these people that shape your career that are so important. And to be able to look back and say that you were fortunate to have people who helped you in your career, who taught you lots of things. A couple of things that just as amusing anecdotes that Jacques used to do was, the first thing was that he would have English speaking day on a Friday. So he knew that how exhausted I was at trying to keep up to be able to speak French Monday to Thursday. So he was right that by Friday I was absolutely shattered. It was just like your brain's just, trying to process too many things. So he would insist that all the staff, and just imagine this in your own office, or just imagine this in Scotland, where all the staff and all the clients and all the suppliers had to speak a foreign language on a Friday. So people would phone up the office and use, it's English speaking day at this company. You've got to speak in a foreign language, and to leave a city like Paris and go back to Aberdeen. But I did make the decision to come home. I think sometimes it's the things that maybe push you away from home to go and explore and discover other things, are the things that bring you back. But unfortunately, at that time, having left Aberdeen when I was about 18 and not really knowing how important the oil and gas industry was, that when I came back to Aberdeen at the time I did, the oil price was in fact hovering, and Jeanette here will get this, was hovering about $10 at the time, and the economy was pretty much in the doldrums. And I tried to get a job, and I couldn't. And I tried all the French companies, because there are lots of French oil companies in Aberdeen, and I thought, well, I'm bilingual now, I can get a job there. But the thing that I want to mention about that time was that hardly any HR person or anybody that I contacted even acknowledged my letters. And if there's any of you running a business here today, it's the thing that I always do. If anybody contacts me because they're looking for a job, whether it's speculatively or whether it's in answering a job advert, get back to them, because it is the most demoralising thing in the world to hear nothing, to think that you thought you were good at something, you thought you had skills, and nobody is getting in touch with you. So, and I go out of my way to make time to meet with young people that are looking to how do you get a career into PR and marketing. And I would just stress that to all of you, to make sure you get back to people, because I had about 8 months in Aberdeen of feeling worthless and despairing that I would ever get a job. So at that time, my dad, as I say, had pubs and restaurants. So I thought, well, I'm not signing on, and I'm not sponging off my parents, so I will go and work in Dad's pubs. And just as another wee anecdote, these were not like, your sort of trendy, classy pubs. I mean, my dad worked for Tennants, the brewers. These were your housing estate pubs where the only good thing was you got really good thigh workouts because you had to duck behind the bar to miss the flying pint glasses and the ashtrays. But again, I put my all into it. I worked hard at doing that. I made got to know some great people, learnt some lessons. I mean, there's nothing better for a career in PR than learning to be diplomatic with a heap of drunks on a Saturday night. But the second bit of luck, I suppose, in my career was that whilst I was working in the bars and still applying for lots of jobs, my dad and I were watching the news one night, and the chief executive of the Chamber of Commerce came on the telly, and my dad went, I was at school with him. And I said, well, could you give him a ring and see if he'd give me a bit of advice? Went to see him. The day I went to see him, his public affairs manager had just resigned. And he basically offered me the job there and then. You're going, again, I'm liking this. And I spent 8 years at the Chamber of Commerce. And again, I was fortunate enough to have a very enlightened boss. A boss that was said to me, right, okay, if you want to go and do this, because at that time the Chamber was very much an old boys network. It wasn't very get up and go, and there weren't many young dynamic people working there. But he was happy to sort of say, go out and do this. And we did things like we bid to host the British Chambers of Commerce conference in Aberdeen, which was the first time it had ever been held in Aberdeen. We set up things like the business breakfast clubs, which I think now have become a bit of a phenomenon across Scotland. If you worked hard and came up with new ideas, you were rewarded, because when they took off and they became successful. And because of the things that I did at the Chamber were quite in the public domain, I was then... God, I keep doing that, I'm sorry. I was then headhunted to set up the Aberdeen office of a UK-wide PR agency at the time. Did that for a few years, and this is another little anecdote or lesson, but I met my current co-directors in big partnership at this agency. We went to see our boss at the time because we felt that we were generating significant fees. We were working our socks off for the business, and we wanted some skin in the game. We wanted shares. We wanted a seat on the board, and he just wasn't prepared to relinquish that. So what did we do? We thought, wait a minute, we can go and do this ourselves. And we left, and we set up Big Partnership. And Big Partnership is probably quite an ironic name at the time because we were so small, but now we are one of the biggest agencies, PR and marketing agencies in the UK, independent ones, that is, out with London. So we're about a £10 million turnover business now, over 100 staff across offices in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Manchester, and soon to be, and this is newsflash, soon to be Leeds, I think. So when I set up Big with Alec and Neil, and there was another director at the time that we subsequently bought out, I had a 4-month-old baby. And who's done that? Who started up a business with a young, there's probably a few of us. It's not the best timing, is it? It's not the greatest. There were times when I thought, what on earth am I doing? Because you have to work so hard. But it's probably one of the best things I've ever done. And those, I loved the first award that we had tonight, the startups, because that's when you're really excited. You're starting something new. It's daunting. It's scary, but it will be the most rewarding thing you've ever done. I'm 20 years into it now, but still every day is different, and being your own boss. Pay your staff. I always look back and think the first time that I employed someone who was slightly older than me, who had a family and a mortgage, was the time I thought, oh my God, I am now responsible for people's livelihoods. And I remember my co-director saying, oh, but we can't think like that. We just have to go out and do it. But I think as women, perhaps more, we do think like that. You do take your responsibilities really seriously. And I know that most of us have had, huge challenges in the last 18 months. I mean, I don't think I have ever been, and I was saying it to some of the ladies that I've met today, I don't think I've ever been as challenged in business. With lockdown, so we've got mental health issues. I look and I feel heartfelt sorry for my younger staff who have lost out on 18 months of their personal development, because it's, whilst we've, and you've probably been the same, you've continued to train your people through formal training, whether it's on Zoom or Teams or whatever, but they miss that informal learning. And I see some people nodding here. You miss that learning from the more experienced people in the office, because if you look back on your career, that's where you learnt the most. It was kind of sucking up like a sponge everything that went on around you. So I feel desperately sorry for those people. I also feel desperately sorry for these, our poor youngsters who have missed out on so much of their last few years at school and their first few years at university. I don't know how it worked with you in lockdown, and again, hats off to those businesses that were up for the awards earlier on who actually set up a business during lockdown. Can I just do a wee... I know it's cheesy, but I think that's tremendous. I remember the first 3 weeks of lockdown, I was scared to answer the phone. First time ever I've been scared to answer the phone, because I thought, if this is another client wanting to pause activity with us or cancel contracts, then we're going to be in serious trouble. And I'm getting waved at, so I know I'm rambling on too long. So, but what I found about that was that there was a knee-jerk reaction that took place. People didn't know what was going to happen, so therefore they just kind of cut back on everything. And PR and marketing were unfortunately one of the first things to go. So because we lost so much business to begin with, we had to furlough staff, and then eventually we did have to unfortunately make some redundancies. And as an employer, if you've never had to do that, that's one of the most painful things that you will ever have to do. Thankfully, we've come through that, and I think we're more resilient than ever. And I think those people who have either set up a business or are running a business and have come through this successfully will be stronger than ever. We're more profitable, we're more successful. And I think we've done that because we've been open. We've been open and honest. We've communicated with our staff throughout. We have treated our staff with with respect, and even in the bad situations when we did have to make redundancies, with compassion, with fairness. And I think for me, of all the things that I've learned over the past few years, it's the key things are nurture and cherish your relationships, and that's your relationships with your staff, with your suppliers, and with your clients. A solid relationship that's based on mutual trust and respect is one that will last, and it will last through good times and through bad times. Be open and transparent, as I said, never stop communicating during challenging times. Be honest, act with integrity. I always say, don't tell a lie. I mean, obviously, as a PR person, I always say to clients, don't tell lies. We can spin it, but don't tell a lie, because it will always come back to bite you. And the one thing for me, employ people better than yourself. Don't be afraid to employ people who are better than you are. Most of the people in my office, the office that I run in Aberdeen, far better than I ever will be at what I do. Employ great people, and then treat them really, really well. And the one that I was speaking to Jeanette about earlier on is BNTK. If you don't know what BNTK is, you would have to ask, if she was still around, my primary 6 teacher, who said to me she wanted us all to be BNTK, be nice to know. Don't be a bitch. Being nice goes a long way. Go out of your way to help people, not just because it makes you feel good, but because it can really help somebody, and also because you never know when they're going to pay it back. And in that way, by working hard and being nice, you will create your own luck, and you will make things happen. And I firmly believe that. I dreamt of a career, or I dreamt of working in Paris. I made it happen. I dreamt of running my own business. I made it happen. Yes, I've had luck along the way, but hard work and being nice goes a long way. So I was supposed to talk a bit about Aberdeen Football Club, but I haven't got time. Just to say that I was absolutely blown away to be asked to be on the board. I've worked with the club as a consultant for about 20 years. I'm not a football fan. I am a football fan, but I'm not a massive football expert. I think the day that I start choosing the team or deciding on the tactics is the day that we've really got to worry. But it was a huge honour, as they said in the introduction, about in the 118 years of the club history, to be the first woman appointed to the board was something that, yes, has made me hugely proud. I am there to do a specific job. They appointed me for my experience in PR and communication, and we're doing a lot around fan engagement and improving the atmosphere at Pittodrie. But also I want to be a real advocate for the women's game. And as I said in the introduction, not just because my daughter plays football, but if any of you, I don't know if any of you, do any of you play football or watch women's football? It's great. It's a hugely growing sport. The women are fantastic. And we need, as in all sports, we need to have that diversity in all sports, and we need more exposure for women's sport. And if I can be an advocate for the women's game, then that's what I'm determined to do. So I hope that I haven't bored the pants off you all. I hope that has been interesting. And just as I say, to leave you that final thing, believe in yourself, work hard, and you'll make it happen, if you haven't already. Thank you.
Zoe, thank you so much, and I wish more bosses understood the power of being nice. It would make workplaces a lot better places to work. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. Time now to continue with our awards, and we start with our Inspirational Woman of the Year. This award recognises a woman who's made an outstanding impact on the business landscape in Scotland, who's both inspirational and a role model for other women. This award is for someone who's made a difference in both the business ecosystem within Scotland and also the charity, social enterprise, education sector. I'd like to invite Yvonne Greaves, Head of Women in Business at NatWest, up to present this award. Well, our Inspirational Women finalists are Catherine Strachan, Managing Director of Copy House Limited, content marketing agency that specialises in the technology and fintech sector. Jacqueline Dobson, President of Barhead Travel, travel specialists. Anne Newbert Wood, Wander Women Scotland Limited, facilitating escapes for women into the nearby wilderness, creating opportunities to step back from everyday life. That sounds good, doesn't it? Nikki Hutchison Limited, helps thousands of female entrepreneurs grow their businesses successfully by teaching them marketing and business skills. Barbara Jameson Law, the innovative approach to legal. Samantha Payton, Isolated Heroes, a unique e-commerce platform to empower women of all shapes, designing feel-good clothing that helps customers feel like the sassiest version of themselves. And Yvonne Webb, Action Coach, a business coaching franchise offering aspiring entrepreneurs and professionals personalised one-on-one mentorship. Well, the judges had a real struggle deciding on a final winner, as this was a very strong category. So they've also awarded a highly commended to Barbara Jameson of Jameson Law. The judges said Barbara had introduced a young and fresh attitude to the male-dominated legal service. So Barbara, if you'd like to come up and collect your award. But Lynn's just gone like that. I think that just means Barbara's not here. Nothing more sinister. She's lying on a beach, that's nice. Now on to our winner in this category. An established business grown from the high street to UK-wide. The judges were impressed at this person's skills to navigate the business during the most challenging 18 months of their career. She's continued to lead and inspire people in her business, conducting her leadership with grace, integrity, and with the utmost respect for her colleagues. She's safeguarded jobs and become a voice for the industry. The winner is Jacqueline Dobson of Barhead Travel.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely privileged and so honoured to receive this award today. After the last 18 months we've all endured, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the amazing team I have at Barhead Travel. Some of them are over here today, so I'd like to thank every single one of them. I'm also delighted to say that travel's back open again. So get travelling again. It's the best thing for you. Again, just thanks so much for this. I'm absolutely stunned. And congratulations to all the winners and all the nominees. Thank you.
Now, our next award is for sustainable business. This category was open to any business which could demonstrate practices and principles promoting and supporting the protection of improvement of the environment embedded within the business, or a business which is delivering a product or service to customers with sustainable principles at its core. This award was open to any organisation, irrespective of its size or any industry sector. If I can ask Susie Fraser to present this award. And our sustainable business finalists are Dr. Rachel Gavey, RGC Limited and Sustainable, making a positive change towards a low-carbon, sustainable way of working for oil and gas operators and service companies. Kelly Wright, The Refillery, a plastic-free and ethical grocery store based in Edinburgh. Megan MacDonald, Sandwich Bay Candles, producing and selling high-quality fragranced candles, homeware, hand care and household cleaning products from the Island Workshop on the Isle of Lewis. Jo Chidley, Beauty Kitchen, effective, natural and sustainable beauty products. And Deborah Breen, Wild Mode Limited, a gender-free, vegan and sustainable slow fashion brand focusing on empowering the wearer from the bottom up. Now, before we announce our winner, the judges would also like to award in this category a highly commended to Kelly Wright of the Refillery. I don't know if Kelly's here to collect her award. We'll make sure she gets it. Right, on to our winner. The judges loved everything that this company stands for, a business founded in 2014. It's recognised as a leader in the field of sustainability. The business values innovation and puts sustainability and planet over profit at the heart of everything they do. Our winner doesn't want her success to be just hers. She wants to make a large-scale impact. She is a role model and innovator. The winner is Òran Chidley of Beauty Kitchen. Now, Joanne isn't here, but you'd be forgiven for thinking she is because her mum looks identical to her. So we'd like to hear a few words from a very proud mum.
Thank you very much. I've picked up after her for years now. What can I say? Thank you. I'm not used to this.
Oh, thank you
you
very much.
You still have to have a photo.
Now on to the Collaboration Award. The Collaboration Award recognises the importance of effective relationships and collaborations within and across disciplines to tackle difficult issues. This award celebrates collaborations which show what is possible when diverse organisations and sectors come together to achieve a shared goal. I'd like to invite Jill Vaughan from Azure Global to present this award. Our finalists for this Collaboration Award are Julianne Griffith from Equiscotia CIC, delivering equine facilitated learning and psychotherapy. Michelle Milnes, Property Studios Limited, a creative property marketing agency providing technologically innovative and hands-free marketing solutions for any business in the Scottish property industry. Susie McCafferty, Platinum Wave Franchising. This franchise consultancy is accredited by the British Franchise Association and has helped hundreds of brands over the last 10 years. Òran Chidley, Beauty Kitchen, return, refill, repeat, helping the individual consumer eliminate single-use packaging from their lives while still buying their favourite brands conveniently. And Stephanie Wade, Hub International, an education and training organisation that supports young talent to get into the hospitality industry. Well, on to our winner. Registered in 2010 and with 22 years of experience, the judges were impressed with the range of brands and companies that this company has collaborated with. Her franchise community is very strong. She's collaborated with companies such as HSBC, Martin Aitken & Co, Harper McLeod, the British Franchise Association, EWIF, and the big hitters. The winner is Susie McCafferty of Platinum Wave Franchising.
Wow, that really did take me by surprise there. I wasn't expecting that. Firstly, congratulations to all the finalists in this category. I've been in business 23 years. I've traded through recessions, changes in business legislation, But who would have thought we'd have to learn how to trade through a pandemic? And everybody in this room knows what that feels like. And the only way through a pandemic is to collaborate. We can't get through it by ourselves, can we? So I have been really lucky with the networks that I've built over the years with the banks, the lawyers, the accountancy firms, all the wonderful introducers that have helped me build my business, that they joined forces with me and helped me launch all sorts of initiatives that actually attracted brands from around the world to start collaborating with us in the world of franchising. So we saw a massive leap forward in our world of franchising. The other thing that we really noticed was a number of women who stepped forward and found a voice in this pandemic. So in the world of franchising, again, we're really, really excited to see that. So one thing I'd say about collaboration is it's so important. You can't grow a business by yourself. We all know that. So keep collaborating. Thank you very much.
And we've got a new award now for Women in Technology. This award is for a female technology manager or specialist who's demonstrated an in-depth understanding of both the industry and the importance of technology within it to encourage growth and innovation for the business and customers. If I can invite Zoe Ogilvie to present this award. I think she's gone upstairs just to be nice to people. Lynn, come on, you can step up to the plate instead of just doing directions off stage. Our Women in Tech finalists are Caroline Lawrenson, TL Tech Limited, an Aberdeenshire-based home automation specialist that designs, installs and maintains smart home systems using affordable hardware combined with clever tech know-how to integrate the functions people need in their home. Rachel Gavey, RGC Limited and Sustainable, making a positive change towards a low-carbon, sustainable way of working for oil and gas operators and service companies. Michelle Milnes, Property Studios Limited, a creative property marketing agency providing innovative and hands-free marketing solutions for any business in the Scottish property industry. Well, on to the winner. The award goes to a company that's inspiring and driving a low-carbon change in the oil and gas industry, promoting new renewable technology and strategy together with a heightened awareness of sustainability in all areas of the business. It was originally set up to support technology and geology in the offshore oil and gas industry and has gone through a transformation to utilise this knowledge of the industry to make a positive change towards a low-carbon, sustainable way of working for oil and gas operators. The judges were encouraged by our winner's drive to have more women in tech and in the oil and gas industry. The winner is Dr. Rachel Gavey of RGC Limited and Sustainable.
Thank you so much. It means so much to be here. I'm quite emotional, actually. 3 years ago, I didn't know how to do an invoice. I didn't have an accountant. I had really no idea what I was doing. We'd moved here from overseas, but I was determined to find a way of starting a business in an industry whilst having 2 very small children and trying to make a difference for their lives in the future around a low-carbon future and a more sustainable way of working. And it drives me every day, so to receive this is amazing.
Right, time to take a break in the awards now, and we're going to welcome our second speaker of the day, Karen Stewart, Director of 920. Karen has 14 years in the recruitment sector, focused on STEM-based appointments. She franchised her business in 2017, has built a strong reputation and network across the industry. A board member to various other companies and charities, and a mum with a young family, she's passionate about leadership, team development, and building diverse and inclusive cultures within the technical sectors. Please welcome Karen Stewart.
Hello everybody, good afternoon, and I'd just like to say thank you for having me on this wonderful afternoon of celebrating women in business. By way of introduction, my name is Karen Stewart. I'm the Managing Director of 920 Engineering and Manufacturing. We're a boutique recruitment specialist agency who support the STEM industries. I have been in the recruitment sector for the past 14 years, and in 2017 I franchised my business. And after lots of blood, sweat and tears, this year we will turn over around £1.7 million. So by day, I'm a specialist recruiter, the leader of a wonderful team, a business builder, mentor, problem solver, and all-round general dog's body. But at home, I'm a wife and a mummy to 2 young children, and that often means I am the cook, the cleaner, the chief bum wiper, and all the lovely duties that come with the proud title of mum. Then there is my passion in life. I love, love, love working with young people and helping them understand the job market, not only as it is now, but what the future will hold. You see, many of you in this room won't know this. There's something that's here right now, and it will only continue to grow. It's a thing called Industry 4, which means it's the 4th industrial revolution. It's the automation of processes, a digital era, a place where there'll be no cash, no town centres. We'll all print our food on 3D printers, and we'll all have a chip in our body that will be our passport. It's a scary future, but it's an exciting one, and too many people don't understand the impact this is going to have in the job market for our young people. You see, jobs in industries we've all known our whole lifetime will disappear and be taken over by automation. But with that will come new industries and new job titles we will never have thought possible, and STEM is at the core of this. So I have made it my mission to educate as many people on what this future will hold. I have created an initiative called Inspire. Inspire is an event to influence the influencer. It's an event aimed at families to come together and learn the importance of STEM, not only now, but for this new era. So when Lynn asked me to be the speaker here today, of course I was honoured, but I was trying to think of a subject that was close to my heart that would be beneficial for this audience. So instead of talking about STEM, young people, or what I do for a change, what I thought could be more beneficial would be my personal journey. I have had highs and I've had lows, and I've had times I'm on top of the world, and at times I felt I have nothing to offer. And I think this will resonate with so many people in this room who are trying to build their business. Probably for me, it's going way, way, way back in the day. As a child, I grew up in a council estate with loving and supportive parents. I was always a clever kid at school, and even back then, I remember going to the cash and carry with my mum and spending all my pocket money on key rings, and I sold them on for a profit in the playground. I always said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. My teachers, they then spoke to my parents and said they felt I was a bright child. They suggested that I apply for a bursary to go to private school. I was happy going along with this, and off I went to sit the exams and have the interviews. But in my head, I was going to the local secondary with all my pals. I still remember that day so clearly when the head teacher came running into the classroom screaming and shouting. She gave me the biggest hug and she said, "You've done it." I was the first person to win a bursary and move to private school for secondary education. I still was happy going along with it all, never realising it would pull out the worst insecurities in me. Insecurities I sadly held on to for such a long time. You see, I went from being the best at everything to not being the best at anything. The people around me seemed so rich and so wealthy, I immediately classed myself not as good as them. And I wasn't the poor kid, but in my head, I classed myself as a poor kid. Little did I realise this was my imposter syndrome kicking in. And now when I look back, I can see back then that I stupidly let this consume me. Of course, to the outside world, I was loud and I was confident. But inside in my head, I just felt so inferior to what I thought were more talented and certainly much wealthier people around me. No one made me feel like this way. It was those little voices inside my head. I rebelled and I left school with only my standard grades to show. I had discovered the Glasgow nightlife at a very young age. And in my head, all I wanted to do was be mature, work hard and party even harder. My poor mum, she was devastated at the time, but mum being mum, she did her best to support her stubborn and rebellious girl. I was a wee grafter. You couldn't take that away from me. I had my first job at the age of 14 in a chip shop. I loved it there, and I can still thank the owner for teaching me the best customer service skills, many of which I still use to this very day. When I left school, I tried working in call centres, shops, bars, restaurants. I even tried selling credit cards in Central Station. But I couldn't find anything that I loved to do, and those little gremlins were louder than ever. It was normal to go on to university at my school, go on and travel the world and, get involved in all these exciting initiatives. And I had failed in this too. I did go back to college. I studied an HNC in Business Administration. Didn't like the course. And actually, when I finished, I still had no idea what I wanted to do. So I went to visit a recruitment company, and it was my first ever brush with recruitment. The girl said, "I've got this admin assistant job. It's with a company called Self-Drive Excavators." "What do they do?" I asked, and she went, "Self-drive excavators?" I didn't have the guts to say I don't know what that means, so I said, "Okay, I'll take the job." So this was it, my new beginning. All excited, I went out with my mum and I bought myself my power suits and my big high heels. And on day one, I always remember turning up and I walked into a big, muddy builder's yard. Turns out an excavator was a digger. And then the next minute, this big, muddy dog, beautiful big dog, came running towards me and jumped up. Sorry, I'm doing the mic thing. Jumped up with the muddiest paws and slid himself down my new suit. In my office, it was a porta cabin built inside the shed. I was really, really disappointed at first, but I have to say, I really grew to love the business, the staff, and that lovely dog. Over years, I started taking on more responsibility, and I did end up running the business. But in my head, because I hadn't gone to uni and didn't have a degree, it was still just not good enough. It was just a wee admin job. And after about 6 years, I probably felt a little bored. I was 26, and I knew I had more to offer. But try looking for a job with those bloody gremlins on your head. Every time I would read the job description, they would say, "You can't do that. You don't even know what that is. No way." So I just wouldn't apply. And then I saw this job advert for a trainee recruitment consultant. I really didn't fancy recruitment and selling. It kind of frightened me. But the gremlins were like, "It's a trainee job. Start at the bottom. That's all you're good enough for. Do it." So off I went and I applied, and to my surprise, I got an interview and I got the job. Turns out I was actually really good at recruitment. Again, I didn't know it at the time, but when I look back, I know I was a natural and I hit the ground running. Sorry, I'm just going to grab it down. Recruitment, it's a really, really, really tough gig. And anybody that tells you otherwise is telling lies. I'm pretty sure there's much easier ways to make money. And try building a brand new business area in the manufacturing sector. The company I worked for was professional services, so I'd never done it before. It was also at the credit crunch in 2009. I was also a very young female in a male-dominated sector, and I pretty much didn't know what I was doing. I just got on with it. But I grew some really, really thick skin. I worked super, super hard, and I never accepted no as the final answer. And my hard work started to pay off. I started to build a really credible reputation in the sector, and for the first time in my life, I could see I could be a success doing something that I actually enjoyed. I moved into management, I built a team around me, and we were known as the high flyers. I was on a high. However, with every high, there tends to be a low, and my first real war wound or business scar, as I like to call them, came for me when I returned from having my first child. While I was in maternity leave, my manager asked, "How do you feel about coming back to a new job and build a new team?" "Yes, okay," I said naively, not knowing what the job was. So on day one, there is a theme of new suits. I'd been out and get my new suit, ready to be a working mum. And I turned up and I said to him, "Right, what's the plan? What's the budget? What headcount have I got to play with?" And he said, "I'll tell you what, pal, you write your own plan." So it was safe to say the writing was on the wall. I found myself resigning from that job with nothing else to go to. The bad experience that I had really made me question myself as a person, and all those old insecurities came flooding back. Those little gremlins, they were in my head again. I was really, really hurt, and I was pretty broken. But along came Gordon Brown at 9:20, who's now my business partner. He offered me the opportunity to build a business area for 920, to which I agreed. But I was so wary of people, and actually don't think I was overly nice to Gordon, but I just wanted to get my head down, not speak too much to anybody, and I certainly wasn't ready to put myself out there again. In the background, I had lots going on at home. I had a 1-year-old boy to look after, a husband who had to give up work because of health issues, and a very close family member who was terminally ill. And I think, you know, the best way to get through it for me was just to get my head down and work really hard. And it really did start to pay off. My network started to grow significantly, but also within 920, I started to feel more confident. My ideas were valued and supported, and you know, I started to build some really lovely relationships across the business. And in 2017, Gordon actually came out and offered me the opportunity to franchise the business. It was super, super scary. It would mean walking away from a set monthly wage when I was the only breadwinner. I had 4 employees I'd have to pay every month, and I was never used to being an employer. But I knew that I had to grab this opportunity with both hands. And that's when I decided to look myself in the mirror and to let those little gremlins go, to fight them off. I knew then that's what was holding me back. By this point, my network was big, and people did value what I had to say. So I decided to push myself and to challenge them on the practices, to coach them into new ways of thinking. I did it, and you know what? They listened. They actually valued what little old me had to say. So I took it a step further, and I started to write blogs and articles on subjects that lay close to my heart. Lots were published, many were well received. I then started looking for board opportunities, and I now sit in 2 separate boards, and I'm pretty sure that I add value to both businesses. Then I started to get asked to speaking at events. So now when I look back in my journey, I'm actually really, really proud, and I wouldn't change it. But the best thing I can honestly say is fighting off those little gremlins have been my biggest achievement. The buzz that you get from pushing yourself to do something you never thought possible is absolutely amazing, and it just spurs you on to try something again. So as I come to the end of my talk, I thought it might be nice to give you some hints and tips that I might have had, might have enjoyed when I was starting my journey. The first one would be, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Those wee voices in your head are completely insignificant. Once you find a tool or a way to combat them, you will find that you will go a long way. 2, be yourself, be authentic always. I've remained myself, I've remained honest, open, and kept my integrity, whether it's liked or not. People buy from people, so keep being you. But equally, I think if you're comfortable enough to be yourself with everybody and anybody, that's when you can beat those demons and fight them off, because you know who you are and that you can add value. And finally, own your mistakes. You know, we all like to shy away from them, and some of my worst mistakes or bad experiences are things I never thought I'd talk about, and actually they're the things I shout about now. So own it. As long as you learn from it, it'll make you a stronger person to move forward. And there is one I hadn't planned on saying, but I think asking for help is really important. I used to hold on to everything and try and do it all, and what I've recognised is, you know, building a team of people that are better than you at other things and utilising their strengths and all working together for the end goal really does help. You know, I've built a great team of people and they're all here, so thanks very much for coming today, and everything that you do for me, it's really appreciated. And also make the time to spend with your supporters. Don't just get too focused in the day-to-day and work. You know, take time out to enjoy it. And I do want to give my wee mammy a plug because there has been a theme of mammy being here, and she's allowed me to make my mistakes and quietly not judged too much, and allowed me to grow as a person without butting in too much, so I do really appreciate it. And I'd like to say thanks for listening, because I've actually never, ever done a personal talk like this, and it was quite difficult writing it, but I just felt that this could be beneficial to people who are struggling to fight off those little inner voices. So thank you.
Thank you very much to Karen, and if Karen would like to actually stay near the stage to present our next award as well. This is our Business Growth Award, and our finalists for this award are Catherine Strachan, Managing Director of Copy House Limited, a content marketing agency specialising in technology and fintech sector. Michelle Milnes, Property Studios Limited, a creative property marketing agency. Donna Robertson, Squared Insurance Brokers Limited, providing bespoke business insurance solutions since 2019. Jane Rennie, the Extraordinary Training Company, a full-service learning and development consultancy on a mission to change leadership development. And Ola Adiemi, Ripples Prints, who design, print and embroider a comprehensive range of garments, as well as customizing and branding promotional and corporate gifts. Well, on to our winner. This business has recently shown significant growth and was one of the first cohorts for the BWS's Programme for Growth in 2019. The judges were impressed with their significant growth, and they've more than doubled their net profit from 2019 to their latest financial year. Now the business is expanding and going global, with them now opening in South Africa. The winner is Michelle Milnes of Property Studios.
Thank you very much. This is wonderful, and as I said, we were the first cohort at BWS, and that has fundamentally changed everything about our business. It was free, which was great. We had lots of people listening to us, telling us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and it's really changed the way I looked at business, how I ran it, and ultimately it's resulted in us completely changing how we structured. We still do the same thing, but that has meant that we could grow exponentially and also evolve and move into new geographic areas. So thank you very much. Two people who's really my right hand. And one thing I want to say, I'm very proud that most of our company are run by women, and we work in property and technology, which is unusual. That's why we're doing so well, of course. But two women who are really kind of my two right hands are both here today, and both Yvonne and Aga. Thank you so much.
Before Michelle actually leaves the stage today, I would just like to announce it's her 40th birthday today.
Oh, yes! Thank you.
Lovely. Right, on to one of our main awards of the day now, and that's Businesswoman of the Year. This award recognises a woman who's made an outstanding impact on the business landscape in Scotland, overcoming challenges and adversity to build a successful business or community enterprise and providing inspirations for others, including the next generation of businesswomen. If Lynn would like to come up to the stage, present this award. Our Businesswomen finalists are Catherine Strachan, Managing Director of Copy House Limited; Jill Baird, Cosmeticare, specialising in cosmetic and reconstructive surgery and private GP services; Jeanette Forbes, PCL Group, and Grape & Grain. PCL Group is a total IT service provider to 5 main industry sectors: offshore, marine, commercial, industrial and renewables. And Grape & Grain is a multi-award-winning upmarket wine bar located in Aberdeen's West End. Jacqueline Dobson, President of Barhead Travel. Angela Prentner-Smith, this is Milk, a consultancy, training and technology business. Ricky Tank and Diane Francie from Home Help Me Care, providing unique care services for elderly people in the comfort of their own homes across Edinburgh. And Sarah Francis, Yellow Cherry, a creative agency offering a range of marketing services to clients across the UK. Now, on to our winner. This business is the fastest growing private business in their sector in the UK. In only 5 years, they've grown the business exponentially, with 2021 being a pivotal year. They have a fantastic business model which brings hope to people who undergo life-changing surgery. They have transgender medical for more diverse private healthcare, helping people who've experienced physical altering experiences. The Training Academy, which is a great community initiative for medics and non-medics wishing to enter the medical field. The judges felt our winner was not only entrepreneurial, but that she'd also moved outside of her comfort zone. Our Businesswoman of the Year is Jill Baird of Cosmeticare.
was winning this, so I haven't really prepared anything to say. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much. It's been a great experience to be in the room with so many amazing women in business. I think the speakers have been fantastic today, especially Karen. She's like a kindred spirit. You were talking about the private school and everything else, and it was, do you know, it was like memories coming back. I was very similar to you, but they kicked me out twice. One of the things I'd want to say to everybody in the room is every woman in business is up against challenges just now. It's always been the way. Many sectors are male-dominated sectors, particularly the one that I work in as well. You're always going to come up against people that are telling you that you can't do what you say that you set out to do. People told me I was delusional, it couldn't be done. I'm not a medic. We've just built a hospital. If I can build a hospital in the middle of a pandemic, you guys can do anything you put your mind to. So proper stick to your guns, don't let anybody say no, and really value your teams. Your teams is what makes everything work for everybody, and share everything with them as well. So thanks, girls. Thanks very much. See you later.
We've got 3 small final awards to make now. Lynn's got the special envelopes. Before I go on to these, has anybody got any more envelopes, donation envelopes for Hit Scotland? Oh, Jill, could you just pass me that hat, please? Make yourself useful. Oh. Look at that multitasking. Absolutely brilliant. Right. Well done, Jill. Now on to our final group of awards. And there were no finalists for this. This is something that the judges have decided on. And there are 3 special packages that have been awarded. The first one, the judges picked our first winner who would benefit from a digital package and coaching on offer. And the winner receives a business coaching package from Yvonne Webb of Action Coach, who's here today, and a digital makeover looking at the winner's business website and social media. And we're pleased to announce the winner is Ola Adiemi from Ripples Prints.
Say I'm as cold-hearted as they come. You'll think I'm slowly cutting my ties with you, that I'm done. Here's what you don't know. Feelings, they grow slow. I've just been caring for my...
Thank you. That's all I have to say for everyone who's given me a chance, and this is another chance again, so I just want to say thank you.
Our next winner receives 3 sessions of coaching with executive coach Kirsty Mack. And the winner is Julianne Griffith from Equiscotia, a community interest company that provides equine facilitated learning and psychotherapy for people from all walks of life. So if you'd like to come and receive your envelope.
That floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to Leslie Furnell from Shires Mill Therapy Riding Centre and Susie Elliott from Riding for the Disabled UK, who have been our partners in our collaboration. And thank you very much, ladies.
And finally, the winner of a 2-week airtime campaign on Go Radio, along with the production of a 30-second commercial. And before we announce the winner, just a few words from Tracy Thornton, the MD of Go Radio.
Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic afternoon at the Businesswoman Scotland Awards 2021. What better way to spend a Friday afternoon than with a bunch of influential females? I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but on behalf of everyone here at Go Radio, we're delighted to be the official radio partner for the awards this afternoon. As a massive supporter of women in business myself, I'm a huge fan of the work that Lynn and her team at Business Women Scotland do. So I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all the nominees this afternoon the best of luck. And I hope everyone in the room has a fabulous, fabulous day.
Well, the winner of the Go Radio Airtime campaign is Fairly Curved, stylish, affordable clothing for the fuller bust female online. Jane Lasley, congratulations.
Half cut because the Startup Award was first and I didn't win that, so I've just got tanked top. So I would like to say thank you to my mum for blessing me with the best chest ever and for inspiring me to love fashion and to start this brand. So there are so many fairly curved girls in the room today. Everybody that's got up, all my friends at my table have said, she's a fairly curved girl, she's a fairly curved. So many great boobs. So thank you.
Right, finally, those are all the awards, but thank you for supporting our nominated charity this year, Hit Scotland. You've raised nearly £2,000 just by making your donations in the envelopes today, and all the money raised at today's event will go towards Hit's Resilience Scholarships to help those in the hospitality industry who've been adversely affected by the pandemic. So thank you very much for all your generosity today. And we're going to draw the winner now for the Stay for Two at the Aberdeen Hilton. Oh, no, you do it, because I've already done the shuffling and it will look bad.
Actually, you should be up here doing this.
Right. Oh. And the winner is Michelle Ferguson from Table 14. Enjoy your stay in Aberdeen.
I'm half cut too.
Looks like it's just me and Lynn holding this whole thing together now, which doesn't say much. Well, a huge congratulations to all our winners and well done to all those who were shortlisted. And it's been so lovely to see you all in the room together in real life instead of us stuck in a hotel in Cambridge Street doing it remotely like we did last year. Please do spread the word to your networks about all of these women who are doing fantastic things in business in Scotland. It's crucial that we continue to highlight these successes and support and encourage more women to step forward in business. Thank you all for live tweeting today, and thank you to all those who entered the awards, our judges, our speakers, and all of those people who helped today happen. Please join us and support the BWS Awards again at next year's event, whether it's in person or virtually. We'd love to see you. Thank you. For those of you who haven't had a drink yet, have a drink. The weekend starts here. Have a lovely weekend, everybody.